In the depths of Wakefield Prison, in a specially constructed glass cell reminiscent of something from a movie, sits a man who hasn't seen freedom since the early 1970s. They call him Hannibal the Cannibal, though that's not quite accurate. His name is Robert Maudsley, and his story is as disturbing as it is revealing. This is not a tale of a madman born in darkness. It is a story of a boy broken early, of a system that failed repeatedly, and of a man who turned his rage inward, then explosively outward. What drove Maudsley to kill 4 men, 3 of them while behind bars? And why is he still kept in solitary confinement over 40 years later? In today's episode, let's unpack the chilling case of Robert Maudsley, a prisoner so dangerous that he holds the record for Britain's longest prisoner held in solitary confinement. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. We upload every week, and we hope you enjoy today's episode. Robert John Maudsley was born in Liverpool in 1953, one of 12 children. The family was poor and chaotic, part of a forgotten underclass in post-war Britain. When Robert was still a toddler, social services intervened. He and his siblings were placed into care at Nazareth House, a Catholic orphanage. By all accounts, Robert thrived there. He was described as bright and well-mannered, but after several years, the Maudsley children were returned to their parents. What followed, according to Robert, was a descent into hell. His father, reportedly violent and sadistic, beat the children routinely. Robert later claimed he was sexually abused as well. At the age of 16, Maudsley fled home for good. He drifted through London, surviving through sex work, drugs, and shelters. He was still just a teenager when the killing started. In 1974, aged 21, Robert Maudsley killed for the first time. His victim was John Farrell, a man who had picked up Maudsley for sex. When Maudsley discovered photographs of children amongst Farrell's possessions, images Maudsley claimed proved abuse, he snapped. He strangled Farrell with a garrote and turned himself in shortly after, reportedly telling police, "If I'd killed him a bit earlier, I'd be doing a lot less time now." He was found unfit to stand trial and sent to Broadmoor Hospital, a high-security psychiatric facility. For a while, he seemed to do well, but the rage simmered beneath the surface. Just a year after his arrival in 1977, Maudsley and another inmate, David Cheeseman, locked themselves in a cell with a third patient, David Francis. Francis, like Farrell, had a history of sexually abusing children. For 9 harrowing hours, Maudsley and Cheeseman tortured him. By the time staff broke down the door, Francis was dead, brutally beaten and allegedly mutilated. Some reports claim a spoon was found in his skull. Others dispute this. The British press, never one to resist sensationalization, gave Maudsley the nickname Hannibal the Cannibal. There was no evidence of cannibalism, but the name stuck, and the man's legend began. Following the Broadmoor killing, Maudsley was transferred to Wakefield Prison, one of the toughest in the UK. Staff were warned this was a highly intelligent, dangerously violent man with a burning hatred for sex offenders. Still, no one predicted what happened next. In 1978, Maudsley went on a rampage. His first victim that day was Salney Darwood, serving a sentence for sexual assault and manslaughter. Maudsley invited him into his cell, then strangled and stabbed him. Then, calmly and with chilling focus, he walked through the prison wing searching for another target. He found Bill Roberts, serving time for attempted rape and murder of a child. Again, Maudsley strangled and stabbed his victim. Then he calmly knocked on a guard's door and told them there would be 2 fewer inmates in the morning. After the double murder at Wakefield, the prison system had had enough. Officials declared Maudsley too dangerous for regular incarceration. So in 1983, they built him a special cell, a glass-walled box, 5.5 meters by 4.5 meters inside the bowels of Wakefield. It's eerily similar to the fictional cell designed for Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, a fact that hasn't gone unnoticed. This cell is bulletproof. There's no furniture beyond a concrete slab for a bed and a table. He eats through a small slit in the door, and he spends 23 hours a day alone. The public was told this was for safety, but Maudsley sees it as a punishment. He's repeatedly asked for two things: a pet bird for companionship or a cyanide capsule to end his life. He's been denied both. What drove Robert Maudsley? Was he a vigilante ridding the world of abusers, or a man so broken by early trauma that violence became the only language he understood? He's never denied the killings. In fact, he once asked the courts to let him die, not out of guilt, but because the loneliness was unbearable. "I am a reasonable man," he wrote, "but I have been left to rot in a concrete coffin." Over the decades, the media has painted him as a monster, Britain's Hannibal, a deranged killer with a taste for blood, but the truth is more complicated and more uncomfortable. Maudsley was a man who targeted men like the ones who had hurt him. He never attacked women. He never attacked children. Only those he believed had done terrible things. It certainly doesn't make him a hero, but it does set him apart. He's not insane in the clinical sense. Psychiatrists actually say he's lucid, articulate, even charming. But beneath the calm exterior lies a core of unhealed violence. Violence forged in childhood and refined in prison. Robert Maudsley is now over 70 years old. He spent more than 4 decades in solitary confinement, longer than almost any other prisoner in British history. He has no visitors, no prospects, just silence. In a strange twist, he's become something of a dark folk figure, whispered about in prison corridors, speculated upon in true crime forums, mythologized in documentaries. But he remains ultimately alone. The story of Robert Maudsley forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about abuse, justice, vengeance, and what do we do with the violent and broken amongst us? Is he a monster or a man molded by monsters? And what does it say about a society that builds a glass box, locks someone inside it, and calls it justice? We obviously may never know the full answers, but one thing is certain: Maudsley's story is not just one of violence, it's one of silence, of a man buried alive with only his past for company.